Here follows an extract from my book Artful Designs, available from Amazon. Chapter 8, Part 1. The start of the next day saw DCI James and Sergeant Maddox sitting in DCI Munro's office. The meeting didn't really justify that everybody attend, but James figured that there was always something new for Maddox to learn, and now that he had taken the young sergeant under his wing, James was determined to give him as much opportunity for continual professional development as possible. This was the official line of reasoning, but the real motivation behind the gesture was that James liked Maddox and thought he would enjoy it. "I can see why you advise patience as a key virtue in the world of art crime," said James. "I've spent most of my days recently chasing my own tail. Nevertheless, I'm to keep you informed, so here we are. I'd also like to pick your brains to get some idea about art thefts in general. I don't suppose that there's anything unique about this particular case, so maybe generalisation can help me out a bit. I'm hoping that there might be a template of sorts. I've no previous case histories to guide me." "What are your current lines of inquiry?" asked Munro. "I've spoken to the gallery staff again, and also a visiting colleague from the mag who popped over to the Whitworth at an opportune moment. I've spoken to the night security guard, to whom you owe a massive debt of gratitude, Maddox. He saved you from having to watch hours and days' worth of CCTV footage. There's nothing of note from these interviews that I can gather at this point, although a couple of details are starting to niggle at the back of my mind. Just a bit of an itch that I can't quite reach at the moment. Other than that, I've arranged to speak to a fire officer to get some information about the fire. I need to know how long before it may have started, and I'm hoping that will give me another angle of investigation. What about you, Maddox? How did Brad and Leighton like your visit?" said James. "I can't pretend that they were overly happy to see me," said Maddox. "They're pretty miffed with Finn, though, that much was blatantly obvious. I think that this made them more vocal than they'd have been ordinarily. They feel that they've had their noses pushed out, and they're not at all happy about it." "How interesting. Do go on," said James. "They don't doubt that Finn is the culprit and didn't bother to hide it. They didn't specifically say so, but they have no reason to think otherwise. What annoys them is that Finn used them to recce the gallery and then went on to play his own game and leave them out of it entirely. Their loyalty has been sorely abused, and now they're angry. He hasn't confided in them at all, and it smarts. I believe them when they said they knew nothing about the break-in. They didn't even know why they had to go to the gallery in the first place, but once news of the theft got round, they put two and two together and felt mightily ill-used. They've not seen Finn at all since that morning and have no idea where he is now. They've checked all his usual haunts because they're after his blood. Of course, they didn't tell me where those hideouts are specifically, but I'm quite sure that he isn't there. The one thing that they were adamant about was that they wanted to go at Finn before we get to him. After that, we're welcome to him," said Maddox. "Dear, oh dear, a falling out amongst thieves, or would-be thieves. I'm sure they'd have joined in given the chance," said James. "I don't suppose that it's unusual in your field, is it, Munro?" "Tiresomely predictable, I'm afraid," said Munro. "I've been trying to imagine what type of a thief or mastermind behind the thief it is that we might be looking for. Is there any rule of thumb or stereotype to guide me? Because it was just one specific piece that was taken, despite being surrounded by countless other treasures. Does that tell us anything about who wants it stolen?" asked James. Munro shook his head. "I'm afraid that the movies have done a lot to misrepresent the world of art theft. We are led to believe that an eccentric connoisseur has singled out this one piece that he simply must have. We're led to believe that it will be taken to a remote castle and kept secret for his pleasure only. I imagine that you're picturing laser beams and sewers as a means of access, all so that one artistic recluse can bask in the glory of owning this one picture and henceforth require nothing further from this life." James laughed at the stereotype, but admitted that this was guiding his thinking. Surely it has to be an art lover of some sort that wants this piece. Why steal it if this isn't so, said Maddox. The media has glamorised what is in fact a very sordid and cruel criminality. In all my years in the department, I have never, ever known this popularised ideal to be true. For the most part, pictures are chosen simply because they've been featured either on a brochure or on TV and then used as collateral, like a down payment until ready cash is available to complete the balance, said Munro. You're saying that a thief will see a painting in the press and think, oh, that's valuable, I'll take that one, and then use it as a deposit for some dirty deed, said James. That's precisely what I'm saying. I've known a Van Gogh to be featured on a gallery brochure, and the next thing you know, it's been nicked. The thief walked past walls and walls of equally valuable and more accessible art to make a beeline for the featured painting. They'd probably never even heard of Van Gogh before it was featured in the literature, and then went specifically for that piece, probably because they had no knowledge of the value of any of the other works. It happens more than you'd guess, said Munro. How depressing. Maybe the galleries shouldn't promote these things, said Maddox. Surely that's the very point of their existence. They must promote their exhibitions. Arts funding requires that the public benefits from having these works on show. It's to make art accessible to all. If not, you may as well keep the Whitworth closed and keep all of the art shut away in packing cases down in the Welsh mines for safekeeping, like they did during the war. Art demands to be seen, otherwise it's futile. That's why the National Art Register is such an amazing resource. It now makes works accessible via the internet, which ordinarily wouldn't see the light of day for years, said Munro. For the full book of Artful designs, available in paperback or as an ebook, follow the link in the cards in the description box or find details on my website at sharonbill.com. Thanks for listening.